Hello there, this is JK from the Ministry of Otaku, 14-year anime convention veteran, and lone autographer for the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. Used to be the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. Now I'm going to any convention that is free and open in the United States. Now I finally made this video after 2 weeks of producing and publishing videos from Anime Matsuri. Anime Matsuri 2021, and the convention was the first large anime convention that occurred post-lockdown, and it was the first and currently the only large anime convention that did not and actually refused to impose a mask mandate or any health and safety policies for their convention, which makes a lot of sense because we have widely available vaccines that do work, and you can just walk into any drugstore like CVS or Walgreens pharmacy and get one. These vaccines do work, and I am very, very shocked that almost every convention, especially in the DC metropolitan area and in the coastal states, are still imposing mask mandates. Because as a form of virtue signaling, and as a form of basically saying, we don't trust the vaccines. Now here's the thing about Anime Matsuri. They have this attitude that they carry over from 2020, that we're going to operate as normal as possible, or as close to normal as possible. And it's a historical fact that the owners, the Lay family, was hell-bent on operating on 2020, even with a 50% capacity. Into the mayor of Houston decided to close the entire convention center to all conventions in a political power move to prevent the Texas Republican Party from holding their convention for 2020. This is a historical fact. This is a historical fact. Now, in 2021, when the Texas governor, Governor Abbott, ended the lockdowns and a mask mandate, they quickly announced their new convention dates of early January, and there was no Kron-chan restrictions, no self-imposed restrictions, basically zero restrictions. Basically, if you get sick, stay home. And I made my goal that any convention that is open, completely open with no restrictions, I will attend. I'm done waiting. And it was my first convention, and unfortunately it's going to be the only convention I'll be going to in the near future due to my local conventions imposing BS mask mandates. This, especially Oricon, because it previously, before DC ended their lockdowns, they told us they're going back to normal as soon as the lockdowns are over. Then they walked back and told us we're going to be making the safest convention ever. Basically telling me not to go. And Anime Matsuri was the first convention I've traveled by airplane. I had to travel to Houston, Texas by airplane. And I commuted by taxi because I could not get a room share near the convention center, the George R. Brown Convention Center. So I got a affordable 5-day stay at a hotel, which is 20 minutes away from the convention center by driving. I had to commute to and from the convention in the morning around 10 a.m. and leave the convention area at 2 a.m. in the morning. And I was the only person that was posting these videos. I was the only journalist. I'm not really a journalist, I'm more of a hobbyist. I was the only person covering this convention through Twitter and YouTube. And everyone knew me and subscribed to my channel because of it. Because I'll be posting these updates about Anime Matsuri on YouTube and Twitter. I was telling that I'll be heading there, and they quickly knew me because of my hat and costume and my police jacket. Kids, adults, cosplayers knew me for my courage because I constantly posted footage from the convention through Twitter and YouTube. They actually admire my hat that I've been wearing. They keep telling me, where can I get this hat? And I told them the same answer. I bought this hat at Anime USA 2015. Anime USA 2015. And you can buy this hat through eBay. Just Google Tony Chopper hat One Piece on eBay. And there was actually a store that I've been to that sells these type of hats. Now, moving on, I want to talk about the convention itself. The convention itself is more like a Comic-Con than an anime convention. Because there's no anime viewing rooms, there's no proper video game rooms. Which makes a lot of sense because you're not in an anime con to view anime. You have to interact with other people. You hear the cosplay. You here to go panels and photo shoots with other cosplayers. But at the same time, there's no space or resting areas to lounge around. And if you want to let enjoy any random anime or play some video game that's out. But they did had an live action roleplay arena, which is basically has 4 walls in the middle and 2 teams. 2 teams having foam weapons, and they attack each other in a match of 5 rounds. I have not uploaded the first yet, but you definitely see it. And here's the thing about the convention center. The second floor of the convention center is more like an open space. There are about 3 open spaces. One of them was held by LARP. One of them is dedicated to photo shoots. And the windows on the other side, the cafe-like lounges, one of them is dedicated to a karaoke lounge, an open karaoke lounge that you can actually hear music and sit down and listen to music. They actually had a laptop computer. It's not a part of karaoke lounge. They actually had a laptop computer and a projector. And they actually made that as a karaoke lounge. Sorry, I gotta fly here. And there's another thing on the first floor. There was an 80s style. There was an arcade having 90s, 80s arcade games with 80s music hits playing all day and night, even during the late at night. And was held and sponsored by video game arcade show / arcade that's held in Houston. During health and safety protocols were implemented by the convention center itself, only with the minimum plexiglass outside the exhibit halls on the first floor where the information booth was held. There was several small information booths on the second and third floor, but the first one was the main information booth. And I actually love the design of the information booth based on the nerve symbol from the Evangelion series. There was ultraviolet cleaners on the escalator handles and air purifiers on the first floor, and a sign of interest that says masks were highly encouraged for people who have not been fully vaccinated or not been vaccinated, which 80 or 90% of the attendees basically ignored because a lot of them just want to come to the convention for normalcy. They just want to go to a normal event. And the people that they wore masks are those that got used to wearing them, those that are part of their costume gimmick, those that have legitimate health risk, and those that want to. 90% of the time, if I saw someone wearing a mask when I took a picture, I took a picture first, I asked first, and I asked them for a second picture without the mask, and 90% of the time, they gladly obliged. Now there was one photo that they actually kept on the mask as part of the costume gimmick. It was from Pop Team Epic. I actually do have all the photos of those cosplayers. I'm gonna publish them soon. But here's the thing about about Anime Matsuri. There weren't much cosplayers I took photos of. There weren't much cosplayers. About 70% of the attendees were just wearing regular clothing or just an anime style clothing. 30% were cosplayers. So it wasn't the amount. So it wasn't the. So there weren't a lot of cosplayers than was in late 2019, 2020. But I did took any cosplayer I was interested in taking of. Despite Anime Matsuri's faults, which is mostly not their fault due to the great lockdowns and then not going after the great lockdowns, they did deliver on a lot of things. First was normalcy. They made very clear they are going back to normal in 2021. And that is a good thing. They literally pushed back. And it was refreshing. I did not have to wear a mask at any time during the convention at all. Not at all. As soon as I got off the Uber, as soon as I got off the Uber car to the front of the convention, it was mask free. No need to wear a mask at all. And the thing about the convention center itself is that you can actually, there's actually a steak restaurant you can eat. There's actually a steak restaurant that's attached to a convention center, that's attached to a convention center, and a seafood restaurant that's attached to a convention center. So you can actually have a good meal without leaving the convention center. There's also a Starbucks as well. So really, they don't have a food court. They don't have a proper food court, but they do have many restaurants for Chick-fil-A, pizza, and there's a comparator. There's a comparator drinks. Comparator fountain drinks mug store. Mug store. I can't remember the name. I actually know it down. But I did bought one of their mugs. Yes, Pickle Pete's natural tea and soda company. It's a comparator to Wild Bill's soda. But they operate in Texas. And I got this legacy mug for Conpalooza 2008 for 2018. Never heard of Conpalooza, but I wasn't there for Conpalooza. Now again, they did deliver on a lot of things. The other one is the largest Itasha exhibit in the United States. Over 50 cars, including a few of them from the Vocaloid virtual singer Hatsune Miku. There was others from Sailor Moon, Evangelion, Gate. There was another one from I can't remember the rest of them, but there were 50 cars. 50 cars, all sorts of anime. And it was in a basic recreation of the Shibuya Scramble Crossing, and was filled with Itasha. And there was one motorcycle and one off-road vehicle that had its suspensions lifted in the air. There's also plenty of exhibits there. There's the Godzilla exhibit, which had artwork and design from the various eras from the Godzilla franchise, and you can buy merchandise from the store directly from Japan. Some of the statues, some of the items cost $1,000, and they did play a few Godzilla movies at that exhibit that few people did watch. They also had an Eva exhibit with the free Eva Gun Mecha, along with artwork series. They also had the Miku Racing exhibit. And it was the first time I ever attended an exhibit that the Miku franchise had a racing team. And they showed off the 2017 winning car for Super GT in Japan. And all the costumes that was featured in the racing project, and the merch that ran along with it, and the statue that ran along with it. I didn't got a chance to buy the racing shirts, but it looked cool, I guess. And the main owners of the conventions, the Lei family, did wear those shirts. Another exhibit that I looked at was the Metal Gear Solid exhibit, and it contains the games in the series from Metal Gear Solid 1, the original Metal Gear Solid, to the fifth and final of the series, The Phantom Pain. And what's interesting is that it's actually John Lane's personal collection of Metal Gear Solid franchise merchandise and games. In the military trucks and vehicles in that exhibit, and outside one of the main entries of the George R. Brown Center, the convention center, was actually rented from the Houston Army Museum. I thought it was just for show, but it's definitely for show. But it's actually rented. And turns out John Lay is a huge fan of the Metal Gear Solid franchise. Now, there are a lot of things I've noticed due to the after effects of the Great Lockdowns and the fear propaganda of the mainstream press. First, with Studio of Finland Saga fame, even though its exhibit was set up, the merch and the staff did not came because they have not been vaccinated yet. Japan, even though they got plenty of vaccines, they did not. They have a very slow take-up rate. While the United States, thanks to the previous administration, have been rolled up quickly up to a point you can walk onto any store that has vaccines and take the vaccine free of charge. Another thing that happened is the volunteers and paid staff for the convention was cut in half due to the fear propaganda. And for the paid staff, some of them from Aztec Events, there was generous unemployment benefits that prevent them from going back to work due to the fear porn. They actually got more money from unemployment benefits than actually working. The convention usually has 400 volunteers and 400 staff to set up the convention. This year, they have 200. This is why the Tenjin Festival, the night festival of the convention, which is concurrent with the main convention, was not completely set up. And it was exacerbated by the rainstorm that happened on Thursday afternoon, Friday, and Saturday morning. So most of the Tenjin Festival events had to move inside. But the beer garden was still operating. Because even though it was raining outside, light rain, even though it was light rain, somewhat to moderate rain, people still got their beer. Gotta get their beer, even though I don't drink beer. So many things that happened were way outside of the organizers' control. And I don't blame them. And there was definitely going to be fireworks at Anime Matsuri in 2021, but that was scrubbed due to the rainstorm that happened during the convention weekend. And I was prepared to record them in ultra widescreen, normal widescreen, and 4K resolution. But it got scrubbed, and this was confirmed during closing ceremonies. And seriously, I actually bought this tripod. I was ready to record it because if those fireworks did happen in 2021, that will further cement Anime Matsuri's convention as the Florida of anime cons. Now, let me get to some things that was reported on closing ceremonies. It was announced that 90% of the exhibit hall space has already been sold out for 2022. That's the funny thing. Even though people say this is the worst convention ever, the worst anime convention in the United States, people still go to these. People still want to go to exhibits. People still want to sell at the exhibit hall. And 90% of the exhibit hall space has already been sold out. And another thing is that there were so many out-of-state visitors than in previous years because many of them have been convention-starved and convention-deprived and do not want to wear a mask for 12 to 14 hours a day, even if they're vaccinated against Corona-chan. And for the first time ever, one-day passes for Saturday got sold out. And this was confirmed by Nick Ricco from Ricco Law. It was confirmed by them, by Nick, and confirmed by the convention organizers. So the convention was a success, despite all their faults. That was out of their control. Now, there was an arts alley, and which was well visited because, despite the fact there were 20 or so booths empty. And the arts alley was moved from upstairs to the first floor because Exhibit A was used for the Dr. Seuss experience, which is still ongoing until August 15th. So if you're in the Houston area, you should go there. And there was actually signs pointing out that the exhibit hall, the arts alley, was moved to the first floor. It's also on the badge. On the badge sign here, A3. A was no entry due to Dr. Seuss experience, and for floor A3 says exhibit hall. There was paper signs pointing that out when you enter the convention, and there was a mini map on this badge. So people have been notified long ago when they get their badges. Now, I want to talk about the events that I attended. The Vic McGregor panels. I can't pronounce his name. Vic McGregor. I just call him Vic. Now, I was not able to attend the Saturday panel because I actually forgot about attending Saturday. The Saturday panel. I did attend the convention for Saturday, but I forgot. I knew there was a panel Saturday, but I forgot to attend it. But I did attend the Fridays and Sunday panels. He's a nice guy, ground to earth, outspoken in some issues, and relatively sane Christian, even though he was fired from Funimation. He actually got other work, and he still had tons of fans that still go to his conventions. And there was a line. There was a line of Vic fans going to his booth and getting autographs. And there was other and compared to Vic's panels, Vic's autograph line, the other autograph lines for the other guest was minimum. There's only a few people attending them, except for one of them was the guest for Spicy Fest / Hentai Fest, Kaho. I don't remember her name. I know her name is Kaho. Yeah, Kaho. Only Kaho's line and Vic's line was long and was well attended. So despite the fact that he was fired due to some BS drama, he still gets business. He actually does audiobooks for Audible, and he still acts. He actually still acted. He actually his latest production, Star Trek Continues, it's actually on YouTube, I think. Definitely watch it. I'm not into Star Trek, but still go watch the show. There's another panel I attended, Nick Ricco's panel called Awakening, How the Culture War is Destroying Entertainment and Escapism, with Yellow Flash, That Star Wars Girl, and Cecil says. It was entertainment and informative. And it's basically how fake woke culture and chronic virtue signaling and identity politics is destroying comics, cartoons, and live-action entertainment in the United States. We're informative and explains the psychological and political motivations of why it's happening. And it's actually not coordinated. It's actually more scholastic. I thought it was all coordinated by the people in the entertainment industry, but it's more stochastic. Basically, they're separate people, and they do it because they align their own interests, and they naturally connect with each other. So they act alone, but they're coordinated in ideology. I actually had to coin the full recording to that panel on my channel. Third thing is that there's going to be 2 K-pop concerts, but they were scolded because they couldn't get vaccinated. And South Korea has slow vaccine intake rate. But we did got a concert of a rapper that was an anime otaku, which is nice. What's his name again? Yeah, what's his name again? I can't remember the name of that concert. What was it again? What was it again? Damn, I can't remember the name. Now, the biggest events of the convention that I attended. Neon Tokyo and Club AM, despite being delayed by 30 minutes to an hour, it was a blast. And it was enjoyable. It was enjoyable. I have not been to a rave and anime convention in 16 months. And it was the biggest rave I ever documented and recorded. Also, side note, Texas is the only state you can actually have beer during any convention until 2 a.m. So I bet some of them got drunk during the convention. And at one point, one of them was passed out during Club AM at the bathroom, and ambulances had to come out. Now on Thursday, Sumo Slam. That was fun to watch. It was my first exhibition match I saw since Otaku Matsuri in 2013. It was an enjoyable experience, and the funniest rounds were between the cat girl, the cosplaying cat girl, who is named China, which I actually met her twice. I met her twice. Once on, I think, on Friday, once on Saturday, and once on Sunday before I left for hotel to pack up. The other round was between the sumo wrestler and Pikachu and the Pikachu suit. That was funny. And the last one was between Denise Lay and one of the sumo wrestlers. Really fun experience, and I hope there'll be another sumo exhibition match for 2022. Photoshoot events. I went to 2 Photoshoot events, one for Genshin Impact and for Demon Slayer, and they were the largest. They were the largest photoshoots for both fan bases since the Great Lockdowns. And for Genshin Impact, I was the first photographer. I was the first one of the first photographers to document the Genshin Impact photo shoot. And I think, in my opinion, it was the first Genshin Impact photo shoot since the game was launched in 2020. And it was really a fun experience. And I actually recorded all the fun things that happened on my cell phone and on my head cam. And I did attend 3 of the 18 plus events. Both of them, all of them having doing conventions. One of them was about convention mistakes in your adult years. Basically, about 20 things you should note, you should do or should not do during conventions. The other one was catastrophe, about conventions that failed and what not to do when organizing a convention. And the third one was anime conventions Addictions Anonymous. And I actually shared my story with those people. I actually shared my story with the convention, with the panel there during Anime USA 2019. You should view both those videos. Now, you want to know the real reason why I attended the event, despite the controversy of the event in 2020, or in 2021, where it was completely back to normal, or the controversy of the owners, Denise and John Lay, or the problems of the convention, and the mentality of the fact that it's the Florida of anime conventions. Because for a lot of us, it's normal. It's a normal event where we can escape, not be reminded of Corona-chan or lockdowns. It was normacy, which is something that the anime convention community has willfully threw in the trash. We didn't push back, and anyone that tried to get some sanity or try to push back gets shamed as a political ex-supporter. And it's a good thing that the organizers of the convention was hell-bent on operating as normal or as close to normal as possible. And they operated as close to normal as possible regarding all the things that was out of their control. And really, people will willing to travel to any convention that does not have BS mask mandates or health and safety protocols. I was one of them, and I told them very explicitly why I came to Anime Matsuri during the closing ceremonies. It was the BS mask mandates of those local conventions. I paid $400 in airfare. That's the price I paid. And I'll do it again in 2022, in late July 2022. Because it was a normal convention. People attend Anime Matsuri despite its faults because they want to be with people. They want to socialize with people. They just want to have fun. Fun and enjoyment. They want to escape from the real world for 3 to 4 days. And that's what the convention provided. Despite the fact they don't have any anime showings. Despite the fact it's more of a Comic-Con feel than an anime convention. It was a back to normal experience. And the anime conventions across the United States need to return to normal. Now. Because I have no patience for any convention that imposes a mask mandate or BS mandates. And again, I'll be attending Anime Matsuri in July 2022. And I will be attending again. And as for this convention, at this point, it is contender for AnimeCon of the year 2021. Because all these conventions have imposed COVID restrictions that sucked all the fun and enjoyment. I am not wearing a mask 14 hours a day for a convention. So any convention that has any health and safety protocols that is imposed on them or self-imposed, they're already disqualified for Anime Convention of the Year 2021. I'm done with that crap. So yes, I did enjoy Anime Matsuri 2021. I had a great time. And I will be attending again in late July 2022. This is JK from the Ministry of Otaku, signing off. I hope you're having a good day, despite the fact this world has gone increasingly dystopian and catastrophic. Have a good day. Did I say that? Have a good day. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, leave a comment, share this video. And on additional note, I am definitely working on a documentary series on this convention known as the worst convention ever. Basically, either going to be a movie or a 4-part documentary series about the convention itself from my point of view. Despite the fact that it's the worst convention ever in the United States, people still attend it, people still enjoy it. And that's the real reason why a lot of people who actually care about anime conventions came to Anime Matsuri. Despite all its faults and the controversy. Seriously, follow my Twitter page, follow my Instagram for updates on my documentary. And if it's popular enough, maybe I should publicize my Patreon page. Maybe. That's it. See you in the next video.